So we're back here at Creating Healthy Organizations Conference 2017 in Irvine, California, and I have Kathryn sitting with me. I'm going to let Kathryn tell you exactly who she is, what she does, and where she comes from, because this woman has a lot of accomplishments.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
You're welcome.
So, I'm Kathryn Goldman Schuyler. I am based in San Francisco. I've written and published 3 books and a bunch of book chapters and articles. All of them focus on the relationship between the inner development of leaders and what happens in the world, and what it takes to have a healthy organization in the world in terms of being healthy oneself. And I don't mean just physical health. Physical health helps, but you can be really physically healthy and kind of a mess inside, or you can not look like what people view as healthy and have a really healthy inner spirit. So in addition to my university teaching, I've worked with doctoral students in particular, helping them with their dissertations for the last 10 years or so. And then I've coached leaders, both for-profits and not-for-profits, both in the U.S. and abroad. And then I also work with body and movement-based learning. I studied with a man named Moshe Feldenkrais and do individual sessions and classes, and have created a program that's probably the longest running program in the world with people who have very severe neuromotor disabilities, mostly cerebral palsy adults. Some of them have been in classes now for over 10 years because it's so meaningful to them to be able to sense their bodies and do more of what they want to do, whether or not they can have it.
Wow, that's incredible. What is your program called for the body workout?
That's called Awareness Through Movement.
Okay, and where can somebody find that?
If they Google Awareness Through Movement, they'll find that there are practitioners all around the world who are trained to do it. There's various length training programs. They're all pretty in-depth. I work out of San Francisco. I also incorporate this into my work in organizations. In the Awareness Through Movement classes, typically what most people do who are trained in it is have people lie on the floor, and it looks from the outside more like yoga.
Right.
But I might do it more as a way of thinking. So we'd be sitting in chairs, we might be sitting around a boardroom table, and it has to do with flexibility and thinking through being aware in the moment of oneself, rather than necessarily rolling around on the floor. I look at the implications of it.
That is just... Okay, so and then what are the names of your 3 books?
Yeah, so the books, the first one is Inner Peace, Global Impact. And it's about Tibetan Buddhism, leadership, and work. And it is a very interesting book because everybody in it has some kind of in-depth practice that they've done for years. They're not necessarily Tibetan Buddhists or even Buddhists. There's people who are Christians, people who have all different faiths, but all of them brought their practice into their work. And so that's what I wanted to explore, was the combination of looking at how the practice in depth of Tibetan Buddhism impacted someone particularly like the Dalai Lama. And so I was able to get his English interpreter to write a chapter for me, because he's one of the few people who know him so well as a leader. And usually what one sees is just his words and the connection with ancient practices. But here it's looking at him in terms of his life and how he is as a leader. And
So the mindfulness of it.
And the impact on the world of him as a global thought leader, a leader of a country with no country. It's a fascinating and difficult situation. And how in the world someone who loses his country and feels responsible to his people manages to remain happy. Because if you see him, often he's laughing, he has this wonderful rolling deep laugh, and so that's the first book.
Okay, the second.
The second book is called Leading with Spirit, Presence, and Authenticity. And that was published for the International Leadership Association. It's mostly about people who are teaching about meditation, mindfulness, awareness, in different parts of the world, in higher education, how they're making that work, how it affects them as teachers, and how it's affecting their students. There's a little bit about the corporate world, because I felt that was really important. But I wasn't able to bring in as much as I wanted, and that's why I did the third book. And the third book is really, it's like a sequel to Leading with Spirit, Presence, and Authenticity. And that's called Creative Social Change, Leadership for a Healthy World. So, and we kept flipping it back and forth. Is it Leadership for a Healthy World, Creative Social Change, or Creative? So we finally decided, let's put Creative Social Change first, because that's what we want to accomplish through the leadership. And in that book, I interviewed 5 of the people that I respect the most as global thought leaders in the social sciences. Ed Schein, Peter Senge, Margaret Wheatley, Otto Scharmer, and Bob Quinn.
Wow.
All of them have done amazing work in the world, right? And at Meg Wheatley's suggestion, instead of creating a series of separate chapters, we juxtaposed them all, and I asked them the same questions and created a kind of virtual symposium so that one can compare and contrast what they said about the same questions.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And then I tried to mine it to help readers see, so what is really important in what they're saying about what it takes for leadership to create a healthy world. And when we were writing the book, the other members of the editorial team and I thought explicitly, what's the world going to be like when this book is published? We don't know. How do we write a book for an unknowable future? And I hope that we have succeeded, because the world is still very much in need of becoming healthier and having healthier leadership.
You know, and that leads
And we
me-
didn't try to give answers. That's
No.
the other thing. What
Some
we
people
did
come to their
was
own.
use their thinking as a jumping off point for developing questions, so that all of us keep living in questions. And my goal in writing the book was to create more dialogue in the world about what's my role, what's your role in creating leadership for a healthy world. And that's something that I'm deeply committed to.
How come? What I want to know is, I believe through all of my years of getting to know people, is there's a passion that drives everyone. This is your passion. It's so obvious. What started that? What happened? Or how did this come about for you?
You know, it's been there so long that I don't know if there was something that triggered it. I almost think I came into the world with it. Really.
Love that.
But I do remember as a child, and I think I wrote about this in one of the books, sitting at the window and looking out the window at the sky, and, all black with stars, and everyone said they were cold. And I loved looking at the stars as a kid, and I'd go to the planetarium too and learn about the stars. And I thought, here's where there's human beings. How come in this world where there's human beings, we're so unkind to one another? If this is the place of warmth, why can't this be a place where we care for one another? And I think that's what it comes from.
I want to ask you one question that I have here for our students that could be watching this. What is your advice for students who are interested in entering the fields of organizational psychology or human resources?
Go out, several things. Go
Okay.
out and talk to people who do different kinds of jobs. There's very different kinds of work in the field, from people who are generalists in human resources to organization development consultants, talent management. So go out and find and spend some time with the people who do the work to see what it's like doing the work and what they actually do. Don't go off the names of the titles. I find that the students who come to us could get lost in asking, what's the difference between organizational behavior and organizational psychology and organizational development? And you know what? Really, it doesn't matter what the words are. It's what do people do in their lives with those words. So I'd say go out and experience that and meet people and talk to them. And then if you can, get internships so you get real life experience if you're a younger student. Because our students who came into our doctoral programs younger, most of them who built fabulous careers did it by building off internships, where they started doing the work and connecting with what was it like to bring together the the theories and the concepts and the reality of it. And then finally, for anyone who is going into particularly graduate work where they get to research something in depth or do in-depth projects, find out what you love and pursue it. One of my students, that's what I've always encouraged students to do. And recently, for example, one of my students is finishing a paper on, I don't know her exact title, but it's Journeys of Asian Immigrant Women to Top Corporate Leadership.
Oh, that's
Okay?
fabulous.
So she wanted to look at who was successful, who made it, and what did they have in common, rather than looking at what did others have to do for them. Another woman looked at Black women who were successful. And needless to say, the Asian woman was interested in the Asian women, the Black and the Blacks. And now it doesn't have to be that way, but they were interested in what, really they were thinking of themselves and other people like them, and what did it take to be successful. And then a young man who came in, and I still remember, it was years ago, but he was sitting at the table describing something about compensation and benefits that he was going to do and build on because he'd already had a job, and he looked kind of like, he's very
Wasn't
bored.
excited about
And
it.
then what he loved was ultra running. Have you ever heard of ultra running? Most of us hadn't.
Yes, I
It's
have.
beyond marathons, right? These people run day and night over mountains. I don't know how they do it, but that's what he did. So he studied motivation, ultra runners. And not only did he complete his dissertation faster than anybody else, but he got to meet all these ultra runners. He already was one, but he got to meet the famous ones. And he discovered not what he expected to find. He thought it would be like the loneliness of the long-distance runner. Instead, he found out that they loved being with other people, and that many of them did it to be in service to people because they would like pledge money and things like that. And so there was really this altruistic aspect of this very strange thing of ultra running, of pushing the limits of human endurance beyond most of us would even imagine that anybody would do.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. So I like the way that you encourage your students, and I love the advice that you have given the students that are going to be watching this. And I really appreciate your time. I'm so glad you're at this conference, and I can't wait to get one of your books, if not all three. And I'm going to look up the awareness aspect, and I think there's a couple people I might share it with.
Well, what I've
namely
been
my
doing,
mother.
what I've been doing with awareness, by the way, is, I do have a long time practice, but what I noticed was that many people who practice a long time, when they go into management roles, don't necessarily do any better than anybody else. Look at problems that many churches have, right? And so the question is, how do we keep that moment-to-moment intention to be present and awake with us? So that's what I started looking at and helping people develop, rather than long-term practices.
Love that. Thank you so much, Kathryn. I
Good to
appreciate it.
meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.